What up, everyone? I want to tell you all a quick story. It was the end of 2016, and this young man who was thriving in life, he had finally found his stride. He was working in the field that he enjoyed. He was back in school, making good grades, and really doing well. And then out of nowhere, he started experiencing panic attacks. And it was odd for him because he couldn't understand what it was, and he thought he was sick. And once he started to look up the symptom, that's what it said, that he was having panic attacks. And it didn't seem right to him because, he's doing well in life. He had quote unquote made it out of his circumstances. And, eventually, after months of struggling, he started to go to therapy. And through the work that he started doing in therapy, he realized that he wasn't being true to himself. He realized that he had been wearing a mask. He was a character, and he had to do some real deep soul searching. Finally, he started to travel back to when he was a kid. Thank God for him, he have a good memory, right? But think back to when he was a kid, before all the social pressure, all the social constructs, all of the peer pressure, all of the BS. And he had to really think about who he was before society molded him into who he had to be to survive. And that was when he started to really find his confidence again. The story I just told y'all obviously is about myself. And yeah, I was wondering why I was anxious, having panic attacks. I was wondering why I was depressed. And it was for multiple reasons. I think the main one was I wasn't being true to myself. And that's something that I am an advocate of being true to your authentic self. And it's funny, right? Because when you hear me say that, an African American male, it's really me not compromising myself and me not feeling like I have to walk around angry and tough. It's me feeling like I can be this happy person and display all kinds of emotion, not just anger, not just happiness. Sometimes I'm going to be a little scared. Sometimes I'm going to be a little sad, and it's okay. But also, what I liked deep down inside, a good friend of mine, always says this: we are not a monolith. And I had to really think about it. And I had to stop trying to box myself in. I had to stop feeling like I had to act a certain way when I'm back in my old neighborhood or act a certain way when I'm in the corporate setting. And I had to find a balance of who I actually am and know that it's good enough in any setting. But yeah, that was when my mental health journey started, and that's when my self-reflection started. My strong introspection started. It's very important. So if any of you are feeling anxious, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling stressed out, and you find yourself self-medicating, you may need to do some soul searching. You may need to think back. I mean, way back. I mean, I went back as far as probably elementary school, and I thought about the things that I like to do, the things that I like to watch, the type of people I like to be around. I've really thought about those things, and I had to combine that with the person that I have grew to become. So I want you all to really think about that and really get comfortable with who you are. Get comfortable with your natural self, not the character that you're playing or the character that you've developed in order to fit in. Especially if you're in your 30s. We're in our 30s now, a lot of my peers, we have no reason to try to fit in anymore. Now, if you're a little younger, if you're in your 20s, I can somewhat get it. If you're a teenager, I definitely get it. And it's not easy. It takes a lot of courage, but you have to be willing to stand alone in order to not compromise yourself. And when you stand alone and be true to yourself, The right people will find you. Don't compromise yourself for anyone. And even still to this day, I sometimes battle compromising myself in order to not necessarily fit in, but maybe to bond with certain people that I'm close with. But you got to remember, it don't lead to happiness. So you got to stay true to yourself. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to share my mental health journey a little bit with y'all, but I'm an advocate of being true to yourself and really encourage you all to think about who you were before society told you who you had to be. Really think about it and focus on it and find that person again. Find that little kid again. And just be yourself. You are enough. And when you do that, there's no more pressure to fit in, and you realize there's a lot more people like you than not. All right, so not gonna hold you all too long, but that's my spiel for the day. Be yourself, spare no effort.